You open your eyes later than you meant to. The light in the room is already bright, the air a little warm. Your phone screen is the first thing that comes into focus, showing a date, a few icons. Your day starts to move. Same mug, same route, same chair, same tabs. By the time you lie down again, the room is dark, the screen glows in your hand, and the day feels thin. Like it never quite became a story. You remember a different texture of time, afternoons that felt wide, like you could walk around inside them. A single summer that still lives in your head as a long, detailed sequence. The way the pavement warmed under your bare feet. The cold shock of a garden hose. The sticky line of melted ice cream down your wrists. Those summers felt endless, and these months feel like a fast forward. The hours are the same. So what changed? Childhood summers felt endless, not because the days were longer, but because your mind was flooded with firsts. Now, your days are full. But they are rarely new. This is the proportion stretch, the way time feels longer when life is new, and each year is a bigger slice of everything you have lived so far. And at minute 9, 10, you will see the exact moment your sense of time quietly elapsed. Think about the last 30 days, without looking at a calendar. Try to remember 3 brand new firsts you had this month. A path you had never walked. A flavor you had never tasted. A small thing you had never tried before. If that feels harder than it should, that is the first clue. Repetition compresses. Memory, when days repeat, your mind does not file each one separately. It stacks them together, like identical tickets in the same envelope. You wake up, reach for the same device, open the same apps, move through the same rooms. Your body performs the day, but your memory does not bother to record every copy. 3. Similar weeks become one vague recently. Childhood summers were different. The first time you jumped from that rock into cold water. The first time you stayed outside past sunset on purpose, listening to distant voices and insects, while the sky slowly turned from blue to deep navy. The first time you biked past the familiar corner and kept going, discovering a street that felt like another country. Every one of those moments forced your mind to pay attention. Attention stretches time. There is a second clue, and this one is numeric. At 10 years old, 1 year is 1/10 of your entire life. At 20, that same year is 1-20th. At 40, it is 1/40th. The calendar looks the same, but the proportion changes. Each year becomes a thinner slice of the story. You have already lived. When a year is a big fraction of your life, it stands out. When a year is a thin slice, it slides by more easily. Now imagine a summer when you were small. Your height was different. Your view of the world was closer to the ground. A single month might contain your first distant trip, your first sleepover, your first time seeing the ocean, your first time getting bored enough to invent a game. On the spot, every week included something your nervous system had never handled before. From the inside, that felt like expansion. Compare that to a recent month. You wake, scroll, commute, or log in, answer, reply, attend, scroll again, cook, watch, scroll, sleep. There are variations, but the template stays intact. Your mind recognizes the pattern. Early in the day predicts the rest and stops marking the details. From the inside, that feels like compression. Let us reconstruct exactly what happened to a recent day. Start at 7:45 a.m. You wake up, the alarm sound is familiar. You reach for the phone. Check the time, the notifications, all expected. 7:50 a.m. Same coffee routine. The mug feels the same in your hand. 8:10 a.m. You sit down to work. The screen opens to the usual tabs. 8:25 a.m. A message comes in. Not urgent. But it is there. You reply. 8:35 a.m. Another tab needs checking. You switch. 9 o'clock a.m. Lunch break. But it is the same sandwich you made yesterday. 12 cologne for 5 p. Afternoon tasks. All in the same order. 3:20 p.m. A walk, but the same route. 5:15 p.m. End of work. Same apps to close. 7:30 p.m. Dinner. Same ingredients. 9 for 5 p.m. Screen time. Familiar feed. 10:30 p.m. Lights out. The day is over. Now mark the exact collapse moment. It happened at 8:25 a.m. That was when the first small repetition locked in. The message reply was not new. The tab switch was not new. The pattern took over. And your mind stopped recording distinct details. From that point, the day ran on autopilot. Every hour after felt like a copy of the last one. Here is the third clue, and it is counterintuitive. You do not need a dramatic life change for time to stretch again. Time expands when your brain keeps meeting the world for the first time. Not giant firsts, not moving to another country, or quitting everything, but small, honest, noticeable first encounters. The scale can stay the same. The pattern is what has to change. Now, we put this on trial. Prosecution first. You are at fault. You are lazy. You do not try hard enough to make days memorable. You stick to routines because you are afraid of change. You waste time on autopilot because you lack discipline. Verdict: not guilty. The proportion stretch is the mechanism in disguise. Your brain is not broken. It is just efficient. It saves space by compressing repeats. The problem is not you. The problem is a life with too few firsts, so we build a simple tool. The summer ratio blueprint. It starts with one question. How many firsts did today contain? Not achievements, not milestones, just newness. A drink you have never ordered. A street you have never walked far enough to see what is around the bend. A conversation topic you have never brought up with that person. The summer ratio blueprint has 3 parts. Part 1, a daily check. At the end of the day, before the screen goes dark, you ask yourself 2 things. First, did today contain at least one small, real first? Second, if you rewind this day in your head, does it play as a single clear scene or as a blur? You give it a simple score from 1 to 10. How rich did time feel today? Part 2, a pre-commitment. In the morning, before your day fully starts, you name one possible first. It has to be small enough that the tired version of you will still do it. Taking a different route for a walk, trying a new seasoning on something. You cook all the time, sitting in a different spot for the first 10 minutes of your work. You are not chasing intensity, you are chasing difference. Part 3. A record. You keep a shortlist, paper notes app. Anything you actually see. Each day gets 2 quick entries. Today's first. And today's time richness score from 1 to 10. No paragraphs. No analysis. Just a log of novelty hits per week. And how full-time felt. Now it becomes an experiment. For 7 days. You run a simple protocol. Day 1. Choose one small first time. Action and commit to it before noon. At some point you do it, even if it feels silly or pointless. At night, you write it down and rate the day's time richness from 1 to 10. Day 2. Same structure. New, small first, 1 per day, nothing dramatic. At night, same question. How thick did time feel? Day 3. Repeat. Day 4. Repeat. Day 5. Repeat. Day 6. Repeat. Day 7. Repeat. 7 days, 7 firsts. 7 time richness scores. Alongside that, you count your novelty hits for the week. How many days you actually followed through there. It's a restart rule. If you skip a day, you do not label it as failure. You just treat it as a data point. A day without a first. And its corresponding richness score. Then you start a new 7-day window the next morning. No shame. Just information before this experiment. A typical week might look like this. Novelty hits. 0 or 1 accidental. Average time richness score. 4 out of 10. Recall at the end of the week, you can name 2 days clearly, the rest blur together. After 7 days of 1 deliberate first per day, the numbers shift. Novelty hits. 5 or 6 out of 7. Average time richness score. 7 out of 10. Recall at the end of the week. You can name 6 days by their small firsts. The cafe you tried, the bench you sat on, the route you changed. The week feels longer in memory, not because it had more hours, but because it had more anchors. The proportion stretch does not disappear with age. It just hides behind repetition. When every year becomes more crowded with similar days, each individual day claims less space in your story. By injecting one honest first into each day, you are not adding hours, you are changing the way those hours are. Measured time will not slow down for you, but your experience of time is not fixed. It responds quietly to how often your mind has to pay attention because something is genuinely new. Childhood. Summers were long because your brain was busy meeting the world. Adulthood compresses because it mostly meets versions of what it has already seen. You do not need another endless summer. You need a fairer ratio between repetition and firsts. 1 small new thing per day. Tracked for 7 days with a simple time richness score is enough to feel the shift. Now you know the mechanism. The proportion stretch. You can start to see it in your own life, in weeks that feel thick and weeks that vanish. The question is, which small first are you willing to add to tomorrow, so that a month from now, this stretch of time does not blur into nothing?